What is up, YouTube? Daniel here with another stock market video for you guys here on my channel Life with Dan. For today's video, guys, I wanted to cover some news that just broke out yesterday. I'm recording this video on Wednesday, December 9th, but Apple just put out some news yesterday that I think we need to cover because it directly impacts one of the stocks that I frequently cover on this channel. In fact, I just covered this stock last week. For those of you that didn't hear, Apple announced that it's going to be releasing the AirPods Max, its first over-the-ear noise-canceling headphone, and it's due to release December 15th. So they just announced this yesterday, but it's already ready to roll out in the next couple of days. So what we are going to be focusing on in this video specifically is all the news surrounding that particular release of the AirPods Max and how it's going to directly impact Sonos, if at all. We're also going to take into consideration what Sonos might do in response to this product release, because it kind of is Apple stepping into Sonos's world a little bit with, an audio product. So not too much to cover in this video. I just wanted to explore the possibilities with regards to Sonos' response and how this could affect Sonos. So let's get into all that, guys, right after the intro. So to jump right into the video, guys, as we look at this press release that Apple put out themselves, it's titled, Apple introduces the AirPods Max, the magic of AirPods in a stunning over-ear design. So they just announced these headphones yesterday, but we already have the release date set for December 15th, just a week away from their announcement. So obviously they have the intention of getting these out before Christmas to see if they can jump in on those holiday sales a little bit. We'll have to see how that turns out for them. But what has people talking about these headphones, since the announcement, is the price point that Apple has decided to put on them. As we look at this Verge article here, Apple has decided to price these AirPods Max at $550. Now that's definitely a hefty price point there for a noise canceling headphone. And what people are wondering if these headphones are going to be able to deliver enough value to justify that price point. Now, what we know as of right now from the press release and information that's out on these headphones is that these headphones are going to have high fidelity audio, which is pretty nice, adaptive EQ, active noise cancellation, and spatial audio. So those are some of the technical specs. Now, most of those specs are not anything new. Most of these things have already existed: noise cancellation, adaptive EQ, high fidelity audio. These are not new things. It's a pretty sleek design overall with a headband that I haven't really seen before with that U shape. And you actually have 5 different colors to choose from when it comes to the AirPod Maxes. You have silver, space gray, sky blue, pink, and green. Obviously, we can assume that these headphones are going to have all types of capabilities with regards to connecting to the Apple Watch and our phones and things like that. So it'll be very much part of the Apple family, to put it that way. Now, right now, people have a lot of things to say about the price point and how it's a ridiculous price tag. I actually found this pretty funny tweet that tried to justify the price point of the headphones. But, at the end of the day, Apple is Apple, and people do end up buying the products. How much demand there'll be for these headphones when Apple already owns and offers Beats headphones? I don't know, but we'll have to see how it turns out. What matters here, though, guys, is what happens now with Sonos. Consider this a chess move, and now Sonos has to do something. You guys might find this surprising, but actually, I think the announcement of this headphone is an amazing thing for Sonos. When I heard this announcement that Apple was coming out with the Maxes, I was ecstatic. I mean, I couldn't be happier about this news. And here's why. The fact that Apple is going to come out with its own headphone. After just a few months ago, we got news that Apple was no longer going to sell the audio products of any of its partners, like Logitech, and one of them being Sonos. I think all of these things just point to an inevitable future. Sonos has to come out with a headphone. It has to compete in this space. There is no question about it. We already know about the rumors that Sonos has actively been seeking a headphone patent, but this just solidifies it even more, guys. Sonos has to play in this space. With Apple already having announced its HomePod as well back in October, we just see that Apple is continuing to move into the audio product space, and it just solidifies the fact, guys, the audio product market is still very strong and still has a lot of room to continue growing. I think as we continue to digitize music and audio and we continue to extend on the streaming experience, having an audio product that's just going to go hand in hand, the streaming world with audio products, we're only going to become more and more obsessed with them. Now, the fact that Apple put out the headphone first before Sonos, I think is going to have many upsides. One of which, we're going to see how people respond to a product of this quality that sits in this price point. We're going to see if people like a $550 price point for this type of headphone, and we're going to see what Sonos does in response to this. Another positive of Apple having their product out first is that Sonos will get to do any changes to their product that they might think would give them a little bit of an edge. For example, once complaints come out about certain defects on the Apple headphones, if any, Sonos will be able to pick up on that information and take that to their product before release. So if you ask me, it is good that they get to watch Apple test out this product and see the results of it, because Sonos, being the quality focused company that it is, they're going to take all that information and take it to their headphones, so that whenever it is that their headphone comes out, it is the best noise canceling headphone out on the market. Now, I think Sonos can go one of two ways about it, and I think one of them is much more likely than the other, so we'll go into those two now. When it comes down to it, Sonos' headphone is going to do one of two things. It's either going to compete with Apple in value or in quality. What I think is more likely is that it competes in quality. Meaning that it probably won't be significantly cheaper than Apple's headphone, but it will be significantly better. Now, there is the possibility that Sonos listens to the Apple customers that don't like this price point, and maybe they do try to compete in value, making a cheaper headphone. But knowing Sonos, knowing their dedication to quality, I just don't see how that's the case. If anything, it's priced around the same as the Apple product, but gives much more bang for your buck. And now that Sonos is jumping into its own streaming services and trying to integrate more and more services through their app, I don't see how any of the features that the AirPod Maxes will offer are not going to be on the Sonos headphone. In fact, I imagine that the headphone that Sonos puts out will have even more capabilities than the Apple headphone. Now, some possible negatives with Apple releasing a headphone before Sonos. One thing that is possible, I hope it's not the case, but it is possible that now Sonos delays the release of their headphone. Now, I'm not saying that that's a given, that that's for sure going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have their headphone ready and then they see the Apple headphone and they see anything that they don't like or that makes them nervous or that they have to change or make better to compete. They're going to do it. So I would hate to see Sonos delay the release of a headphone just to compete with, the quality of the Apple headphone. Not to say that the Apple headphone is the top tier of noise canceling headphones. Obviously, we have to still see how that pans out for the headphone, whether or not people like it, and if it is up there on the best noise canceling headphones. But yeah, the point being, a delay on Sonos's part would be a very bad thing. In fact, they probably have to accelerate the release date of a headphone now that Apple has put one out there, because now that Apple has one, it's going to be a trendy thing. Like I said, we've had noise canceling headphones, Bose, Sony, they all have them. But I think now that Apple has one, it's going to become more of a trendy piece. It's going to matter more to have over-ear headphones, if you can think of it that way. When the AirPods came out, all of a sudden earbud headphones are all cool and everyone's got to have them. Well, now everyone's going to want to have over-ear headphones, I think. So definitely shouldn't delay. Worst thing that could possibly happen is for Sonos to altogether not release a headphone. If Sonos were to say, well, you know what, Apple has just jumped into this space, there's already a lot of competitors in the headphone space, let's just go ahead and pull the plug on this. That would be the worst thing for Sonos to do. For them to give up that market share, for them to give up the possibility to, extend their product reach and to get more customers through something like a headphone would be a big mistake, especially because they'd be leaving all that market share for Apple to pick up. If Apple ends up taking market share in the over-ear headphone space, from Bose and Sony, who currently lead that space, it's just a bad thing for Sonos in the long term as Apple diversifies and finds more ways to connect its hardware offerings with its service offerings. Now, we're still waiting on Sonos' Investor Day this March, where, like I mentioned in last week's video, we could possibly anticipate the announcement of the new headphone. Who knows if it'll be that long until we hear the announcement at this point. Like I said, it does seem like the clock is now ticking for a time to get into this space, and more importantly, the time that you're going to let competitors take advantage of the space. We should expect to see some new product news in the next 3 months for sure. But this is very exciting stuff, guys. I am loving the competition. I'm loving the fact that Sonos is being put into a position of pressure, because now they got to make some moves. They've been enjoying leadership in the speaker space, in the architectural speaker space, and it's time to get going on the headphone space. But with all that said, guys, that's pretty much all I've got to go into for today's video. I just wanted to take a look at this new headphone, definitely compliment it on its design, definitely really compliment Apple on their aggression on getting this to market so quickly. But as Sonos investors, now we have a lot to consider and a lot more excitement as we anticipate a Sonos headphone, the counter product to Apple's new AirPod Maxes. So if you enjoyed this video, leave a comment down below. Definitely hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know if you guys are Sonos investors and how you guys feel about these AirPod Maxes. Would you buy them? Would you spend the $550? Let me know down below. So with all that said, until next week, be careful in the market out there, guys. It's starting to get shaky. Today was a down day, as you guys can see back there. That's Sonos stock, but overall, it seemed like things were starting to go down a bit. Until the next video, I appreciate all the support. This is Life with Dan.